I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Friday.
Big question, are we fighting this hour? Even I don't know.
If the sun's up, Billy and I are fighting. There you go.
About something, yes.
About something.
Yeah.
Had a great experience with Turning Point yesterday at Colorado School of Mines, and I opened this up. I said, look, if you disagree with me, if you think I'm wrong, you're welcome to call into the radio show and tell everybody across the city of Denver all about it. So, you're welcome to do that. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Campos Law text line, 720-819-5115. We got a call from a student yesterday at Turning Point USA's event at Colorado School of Mines. Karthik Golden. Good morning, Karthik. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Hey, morning. Thanks for the call.
Good morning, Jeff. It was good to see you yesterday at School of Mines.
Yeah, I had a great conversation. Thank you. Did you stick around afterwards when we talked out in the hall for a bit?
I did not, because I actually made up my mind that I'd rather have you interact with the students. And I'm not a student. I'm just a community member in Golden.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And I thought, you know what? I thought I'm just going to call you and have a chat on live radio today.
Let's do it.
Excellent.
What's on your mind?
Well, firstly, thank you for, taking my pamphlet on the Dove Leadership Program, the diversity of views enablers. What I want to gather your thoughts on, Jeff, is, it's hijacking of science and scientific institutions to further a political narrative in America. And I'm saying this based on years of my own investigation into climate science, quote unquote, and lately into the gender fluidity education. And I think it puts the students in an extremely tough position. If you remember yesterday, there was one guy who was wearing a MAGA hat saying he got spit upon because they called him a Nazi or whatever.
Yeah.
But then when you say, hey, your position on climate is against NASA's position, that's almost an unavailable position for a young graduate student or undergrad student at our top university, right?
That's right.
And I've given plenty of presentations. I actually have written endorsement from some Air Force personnel when I challenged NASA on some of the things that they put out. So the second part, and today, which is even more shocking, is I'm going to read out, I'm reading this from the website of Mayo Clinic that actually says, it actually says having a procedure to change your physical body to align with your quote unquote gender is good for your mental health and for your sexual function. That is one of the top medical institutes, Mayo Clinic, that is published on its website.
Yeah.
For me, for me, it's not about looking at it from a political or even a religious standpoint. I want to look at the scientific and education perspective and see how did our top institutes fail like this.
Well, I think it's the development, and Karthik, great call, and I remember you now. Absolutely, you wore that awesome cowboy hat. Karthik, it's what I call scientism. So it almost becomes a form of authoritarianism, where they wield the power of the institutions to actually stop the process of science, right? So science is ongoing, continuous discovery and work and research and questioning. But then you saw this a lot in COVID. You see it around the climate sciences, to your point as well, where they step in and go, no. No, what we say goes, and you are a heretic if you don't follow it. For instance, climate science, and it becomes almost like an authoritarian religion that I think is called scientism. What do you think?
Me?
Yeah. What do you think?
I'll say this. I've been very actively involved with something called, at least following CO2 Coalition. And they say our education has become indoctrination, not education that promotes critical and independent thinking. So I think, Trump winning, getting back to the White House is a big deal. But I think the students need to be empowered with more objective thinking, and that's what's missing. So I am agreeing with you. I'm just saying, so what's the solution? Where do we go from here?
Continue to challenge it and continue to work within these institutions to bring about reform and change, because they need to. They're not actually educating kids. They're indoctrinating them. Karthik, really appreciate the call. Great to see you last night. Let's get to news and comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, TGIF, good morning. Keep on calling, Karthik. 40 and mostly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 49 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. An Adams County deputy recovering after being injured by a jackwagon out there. The deputy conducted a traffic stop at Corona Street and Essex Drive late Thursday afternoon. The suspect fired shots in the air before trying to flee. Deputies broke off their pursuit, but the suspect returned to the scene and fired another round. Absolutely insane.
At law enforcement?
Yes.
Or in the air like Yosemite Sam?
Well, the second time it looks like at them. Or in the direction of. Fired another round.
I thought we had all these red flag laws that were supposed to stop this stuff. Apparently not. Apparently
Evidently
only
not.
law-abiding citizens.
Jeez, man. This is, it's
And then
crazy.
what happened? Did he get shot by law
So the
enforcement?
chase ended with him crashing head-on into a squad car. I'm going to use that word, squad car.
I like that. That's a good use
Yeah.
of the word.
Bum-ba-da.
And so is the dude still alive, or did he take
The deputy was treated for minor injuries while charges against the suspect are pending. So
he's still alive.
he's alive. He is alive.
I swear,
I don't know what kind of
police are
drugs,
the only
alcohol.
ones. Police have got to be the only ones that have to shoot a guy and then provide the care to keep him alive.
Yeah, right?
Right?
Exactly.
Don't you find that wild?
Yes,
they
I
have
do.
that responsibility to. Some of these guys are such lunatics that they're out there trying to kill law enforcement. Like this guy shows up back and shoots at them.
Yeah.
And then so you have to shoot the guy back that's trying to kill you.
Right.
And then take the time to try to save his life. Nobody else has the pressure the law enforcement has to deal with.
No, they don't. Can you imagine how ticked off would you be if you're in that position every night, someone trying to kill you, and then you go home and you read, oh, these police officers, it's so unfair. They go after us. We're so innocent. Victor, just freaking don't resist.
Yes.
Abide by the law. Don't break the law. And take your butt home. God, unbelievable. DJT calling for Colorado U.S. Representatives Jason Crow and 5 other Democrats to face trial, accusing them of seditious behavior over a video advising troops they can refuse illegal orders. Crow shared his response to the president's backlash on social media on Thursday.
President Donald Trump threatened to have me arrested and executed simply for reminding our service members of their oaths to follow the Constitution and to defend the rule of law.
The initial
gosh, voters of Congressional District 6 of Colorado. What the hell at this point? This guy's the worst. So you can disagree with what the president said and say, he pushed it too far. He should hanging. No, it was too far. But Jason Crow sitting there going, I'm just trying to remind them of their constitutional requirements and duties. It's an after-school more you know commercial. Give me a break.
Yeah, how much
he
do
is
you hate the country?
absolutely trying to sow dissension in the troops for political purposes. Trump was right to call him out, and then Crow runs out there and plays the victim.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
He's already he had it all lined up. The group of lawmakers who are all former military or intelligence members, which when you say that concerns me.
Intelligence.
Yeah.
There's a big lack of intelligence in that group.
Exactly. They did not specify the nature of what was meant by illegal, unlawful, or unconstitutional. 47 called it seditious behavior punishable by death, as Jeff said, though Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, clarified he does not want them executed.
They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command.
And as Jeff and Billy said, the News Talk 710 alum, Hall of Famer George Brockler
This video tries to plant the seeds of doubt in the minds of our soldiers, sailors, airmen. It tries to suggest that what's going on right now needs extra scrutiny from them, and they need to question the orders that they receive from their chain of command. That's dangerous.
Yes. All right, Commie Donnie, he sits down with 47 at the White House today.
The meeting is their first since the Democratic Socialists got elected mayor after a campaign where Trump and Mamdani were very critical of one another. But Mamdani says this is about a relationship between New York and the White House.
And I will look to make clear that my interest goes beyond any one of an individual. It's for the people that I look to represent.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
We have a communist coming to the White House because that's who the Democrat Party elected.
Mamdani says he wants to talk
right.
to Trump about affordability and address what he calls the cost of living crisis for New Yorkers. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
All right, Scott, thank you. Oh God. Fang. He's officially running for governor of California. Eric Swalwell.
Is he?
Yes.
Really?
Now listen to this. This was on Jimmy Kimmel last night.
What do we do? What are we going to do? How do you stop this?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I love California. It's the greatest country in the world. Greatest country in the world.
Did you hear that? He called it a country twice, man. He's so scripted.
Yeah, and
he
to
says
a point,
greatest, and
to
it
a
is
point,
a country.
Like, California is so big that its GDP is bigger than a lot of other countries, most countries actually. But
it's the worst country in the world.
Yeah, right. I lived in California for years. It's way too big. It should be, in my mind, 3 different states.
Yeah.
If there's any rationality to it, it's huge. It takes forever to drive. Maybe you can say that about Texas, but I think Texas is more culturally cohesive than California is. Like Northern California, north of San Francisco, really should be like there's an effort to make it a separate state at one point called Jefferson. So Southern Oregon and Northern California could actually form their own state called the state of Jefferson. There was this big effort to do that at one point. The breadbasket, the kind of Bakersfield, Fresno, is totally different than San Francisco. It's like a completely different country.
Absolutely.
So you could have the coast, L.A., San Francisco. You could have the inland parts of California, and then you could have northern. It's basically 3 separate states. But Eric Swalwell, he'd be great.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, that guy, so greasy. And so is the host of the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
And so is Gavin Newsom. It seems like they're all out there anyways.
It's perfect
in California.
for him. Let's hear. I'm going to play the rest of it.
What do we do? What are we going to do? How do you stop this?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I love California. It's the greatest country in the world. Greatest country in the world. But that's why it pisses me off to see Californians running through the fields where they work from ICE agents or troops in our streets.
It's horrifying.
It's horrifying.
It's absolutely
Or cancer research
horrifying.
being canceled.
Yeah, the problem is they aren't Californians. They're from, another country.
It's almost
how about protect Californians?
I love the South, but seeing those slaves run through the fields on their way to freedom.
Oh, man. That's sad. That is so sad.
Golly.
All right, the Texans beat the Bills last night, 23-19. Houston is 6-5. The Bills are now 7-4. Josh Allen will be in Laramie tomorrow as the University of Wyoming. They retire his number and honor number 17 at WIO. And the Avalanche last night, going for 7 wins in a row.
Here's what he takes in. Long shot off the iron from a corner. Score! Nathan McKinnon.
You could hear it off the iron. Dink! And scores beautiful. 6-3 over the Rangers. And the Avalanche, they have scored a point in every game but one. They're 14-1-5. 39 in Aurora, 38 in Arvada, 40 in Denver. You are waking up with Jeff and Bill, and it is Friday morning. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
A storm system lifting north and east out of Arizona will clip the Front Range and eastern plains of Colorado with some upslope, some cooler, wet weather coming to the Front Range. Clouding up, temperatures in the low 50s today. Showers developing by afternoon. Areas of rain and fog tonight may be mixing with a little bit of wet snow. This will be especially true Palmer Divide and foothills. Some of these rain and snow showers and areas of fog will linger into early Friday, then partly cloudy, and back into the 50s for the weekend. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Trump calling out the Democrats that created the little troop video. Here it is. This is the original video. Jason Crow's part of it. I think Trump was exactly right that this is seditious behavior. They're sowing dissent and doubt in our troops. What do you think?
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
So the Democrats in there have been asked a number of times what the heck they're talking about. Pitting troops against American citizens. This is hard, and you must refuse illegal orders. And Democrats going, oh, guys, come on. We're just reminding the troops out there of their constitutional requirements to refuse illegal orders, which I think is a bizarre effort to backtrack on what is clearly a major wrong, which is they are sowing dissension and doubt with our troops. They're creating questions in the chain of command. Trump furious about it, calling it seditious behavior, punishable by death. Now, I think you can. I think it's a fine criticism to go, Trump went too far, calling for death. But the truth is, if you're in the military and you do engage in seditious behavior or treason, it is punishable by death. If you're in the military. If you're just a civilian, no, it's not. But if you're in the military, yes, it is. And I appreciate the fact that Trump went so fierce, so strong, confronted this with such strength, that this type of activity from former military and intelligence members, veterans, who should have known better, trying to use the military to score political points, the result being dissension in our ranks, is completely uncalled for. Trump was right to call him out. Let's go to the phone lines. What do you think? Tony Littleton, you're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. So this is a tough situation we're in with what Jason Crow did and then Trump's response. But I think it's important to remember the underlying message that's 60% of the country roughly disapprove of Trump's presidency on just about everything, whether it's the economy, whether it's immigration, his use of the military, his use of the Justice Department. 60% of the country, roughly, that believe this no kings thing, and you're not going to agree with any of it. You are completely on the other side, which is you're right, but that's all this is. That's all this is. There's a big chunk of the country believe he's acting like a king, and they're afraid of what he's doing to the various institutions of our government. The military being maybe the most important, because it's never been political, and he's made it political, and at least in the view of the 60%. That's all.
Tony,
that's
give
why
me
there's a different view.
Give me examples of Trump pitting troops against American citizens.
The courts are ruling one after another that his placement of the troops are out of line. Whether it was Washington D.C.,
you think that's pitting
Chicago,
troops against American citizens? National Guard troops standing around a monument to keep it safe is pitting
Jeff,
American.
we don't have to agree. I'm just sharing
troops.
with you the other side. It's all I'm doing. I'm saying to you, this is what the 60% are concerned about. They're concerned that he's acting like a king. And I mean, we had an example just that you would think everybody would disapprove. The corruption is off the chart. So the Swiss delegation comes in. He's got a 39 or 40% tariff against them. They come in. They give him a desk clock. They give him a gold bar with 45 and 47 engraved on it for his library, worth $130,000. And he lowers their tariff to 15%.
Tony, don't you think that's great? He lowered the tariffs. You're against tariffs, right?
All right. I'm making the point. I'm making the point that no president, if somebody had come into Obama's office and said, I'm going to give you this, and lower your tariffs, change your policy because I'm giving you a personal gift, you'd be outraged by that. You would be outraged, and I would too. And Obama would have been outraged. He would have thrown him out and said, what are you even thinking?
Tony,
but that's who we are now.
Tony, are you outraged? I appreciate the fact you're outraged that other countries are giving gifts to the president. Are you outraged that Jason Crow is sowing dissension and doubt in our troops?
That's the point. You view it as sowing dissension. I understand, and that's your view, and you're not going to change.
Tony, what is it?
Hold on. It's 60% of the country is concerned that he is trying to make it his military and will try to use the military, in every way he can.
Who's the chief commander?
I know.
Commander-in-chief.
I understand that. You believe he has all authority.
No.
Right now.
Well, with the military, he's the commander-in-chief. But Tony, this was like Latin American dissension military coup type of crap that came from these Democrats, and you know that. That's
the way you view that message. These were all experienced officers. They had in intelligence, in the military themselves. And they're concerned. They're concerned, and they're voicing the concern of 60% of America. That's all. And
Tony,
you have a different view.
Concerned. Do you remember when the 51 former intelligence officials signed on to a letter saying that the Hunter Biden laptop was just Russian disinformation? Come on. These guys are political activists, and they use their positions in order to try to sabotage their political opponents.
You think they're
totally
trying to
unfair.
Do you think they're trying to incite dissension and maybe violence? 60% of America believes that Trump incited violence on January 6th, and you don't. You don't.
Because
you see it as entirely different. Those 150 officers that were beat up, you don't believe that. You don't believe Trump had any role. That's okay. That's okay. And 60% just disagree with you. That's all.
I don't know,
and that's
Tony.
what this
I'm not
case
quite
is.
sure why you keep going back to the 60% as some justification for what
because
the
his
Democrats
approval rating,
did.
His approval rate. It's just.
Who cares
it's all
what
the
his
polling.
approval rating is? Was it right for these Democrats to continue to put out this message, to stand by it, to say that Trump's pitting troops against American citizens and that you must refuse illegal orders when they can't define anything, that
Jeff,
they can't point to anything, Tony?
All right, I'll point. So I'll give you an example. There's a big chunk of the country that believes what we're doing around Venezuela is maybe not legal.
What are we doing around Venezuela that's not illegal?
Shooting boats, killing people in the water. This would be something that he should have taken to Congress, but Congress has stood down and just lets him do what he wants to do. Congress is responsible in this case.
He followed the rules and processes laid out right now, the same thing Barack Obama did. And I don't remember Jason Crow getting all upset about that, but he declared them terrorist organizations and is now using the power of our military to protect American citizens against terrorist organizations. He's followed the rules.
Jeff, that's right. He's called them terrorists because now he can call them combatants, and now he can shoot them at will. And there are a lot of people and inside the military and just in the country who disagree with you. That's all. You are on about the 40%
Tony,
side.
This isn't about just 60%. About a disagreement. They're sowing dissent. It's
you believe it's all right.
What these Democrats
Jeff,
have done.
You don't care, Jeff. You're okay with anything he does, and there's 60% of America who does not. He's changed America. He's changed the country.
Tony, I don't know why you keep going back to 60% as some justification for what the Democrats did. They're sowing dissent.
That's the problem. About 60% of the country disagree with you and disagree with him. That's all. And you're not going to change your mind. And
wait, hold on.
And the
Tony,
60%'s not going to change their mind.
You think it's okay for some private out there right now, some sergeant working in the military,
the military
to disobey,
they're in a very tough
to disobey these orders? Should they disobey?
Look what,
Tony, should somebody in the military disobey shooting a boat full of Venezuelan narco terrorists bringing drugs to America? Should somebody disobey that right now?
They don't even bring that. The fact is that drugs don't even come up the Atlantic side. It's the Pacific side that they.
So they should disobey that order. Shoot that boat, bring in the narco drugs up here, the narco terrorists. Shoot that boat, disobey that order.
The officer that was responsible for the entire southern operation down there resigned. He resigned out of protest for this action. Now that he had that right, and the military, doesn't want him there if he's not comfortable. But that's an example of a guy who's been running. He's responsible for the whole damn area, and he's saying this isn't right. We're out of line right now.
So you think they should disobey those orders? Those are unlawful orders that should be disobeyed.
I'm not calling it unlawful. I'm saying I'm not calling it unlawful.
But that's what Jason Crow is saying.
Terrible burden. You know who should be calling it unlawful are the officers. But basically, they've eliminated so many of the officers, or the ranking officers, and now they've put in guys that they are going forward, and it shouldn't be falling on the private to make that call. It shouldn't fall on him or her to have to make that call.
Or Tony, that's exactly what Jason Crow and the Democrats want. They're saying
tough.
Out there,
they believe they're in a tough spot.
Save the ship. You must refuse illegal orders. That's what makes me so angry, Tony, and I sure appreciate the call, is that, yeah, you can have a political debate, a public policy debate as to whether or not we should be targeting narco terrorist boats coming up the Pacific or Atlantic Oceans. I think it's fine to debate that, okay? But that's not what these Democrats did. These 6 Democrats sent a message to troops that are 18, 19, 20 years old and told them that the President of the United States is pitting troops against the American citizens and you must refuse illegal orders. And some kid out there has to weigh whether or not the order that's coming from the President of the United States to attack these narco terrorists is somehow a legal order or an illegal order. And Donald Trump has followed the rules. He has said these and deemed them terrorist organizations. You may disagree with the rules, but he's followed them the same way Barack Obama did with his strikes. And you didn't see people encouraging the military to, now more than ever, refuse these illegal orders. This is about sowing dissension in an effort to get political power. It's no different than what happens in these Latin American countries where you have these military coups. It's completely inappropriate. It should be called out, and the president was right to use strong and forceful language, calling it seditious behavior. All right, we'll get to the phone calls and texts. Let's talk Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis is the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Caplis is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S law.com. Now, Bill, when they were mentioning George Washington, I went and looked up how George Washington treated dissenters and seditionists and all this stuff. And, yes, he did call and oversee a trial for the execution of a deserter from the Continental Army. Now, I'm not saying that we should do this in this case, but George Washington did believe in public flogging. That might not be such a bad idea. Bring public flogging back. What do you think?
Yeah, there's the thing is, I disagree with you. This is sedition. I don't think this rises anywhere close to the level of sedition. So what George Washington did to seditionists to me is mostly irrelevant, because this is a social media post that was meant to go viral, that was talking to voters, that wasn't meant as a target for enlisted men and women, because they get this on the regular. They get this when they enlist. They're reminded of this on a yearly basis, several times a year. And even recent polling within the last couple of months inside the military saw that over 75% of them said yes, they would disobey an illegal order. And there were about between 9 to 18%, depending on how you define it, that would be able, they felt themselves, to define what an illegal order is. And there were a couple others that said they wouldn't know what it was. So that was why it wasn't higher in some of those breaks. That's why they only got to about 75% that said, yes, we would be able to know it and disobey it. So when you have a poll of current serving military, it says 75% said they would disobey an illegal order, this video is not for them. They already understand that. They've gotten the message. That's the issue here. This video with Jason Crow and everybody else, this was meant for voters. It had nothing to do with the military.
It's directly talking to soldiers. I know you might say it's for the general public.
No, it's not.
It's directed right to the soldiers.
No, it's not. It's not.
Are you kidding me? You want to go through the transcript
Hang on a
of
sec.
who they're saying to?
Hold on a sec. It's not about the transcript. It's about the target audience.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Yeah, I know.
You. Who's the you in that?
Hang on a sec. The you is the military members, but the audience directed for the video is not meant for the military because they already have the message. That's what I'm saying.
Like us, you all swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. I know you keep saying this is one for the general public.
Yeah, because you have to understand that. You have to understand the context. And here's the idea: if we honestly are to believe that these lawmakers who are former military, that they didn't know or understand the rules and how often these service members are told to disobey illegal orders, that's a real big stretch. They know they get this message all the time. So they crafted this message to appear as if it's going to military members when it's really meant for the larger population of the voters. And they got exactly what they needed, in part because Donald Trump threw a hissy fit over it. This thing would not be as large if Donald Trump didn't throw a little tantrum. And that's exactly what they wanted.
He was right to stand up against these people. I mean, to Stephen's point, the word is subversion.
They played him,
subverting the Democrat,
and he took the bait.
Oh,
he has to be more smart. He has to be
Bill,
smarter than this.
This is unacceptable behavior. All right, we'll continue. Phone lines are hot. Text messages are hot. Join the conversation. 303-696-1971. Text us at 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
All right, Billy and I talking Trump calling Democrat videos, the Democrat video about the troops, seditious behavior punishable by death. Is he going too far, too extreme, calling his political opponents execution? Jason Crow making the claim. Lots of Democrats all over. Brittany Patterson, President of the United States, calling for the death of his political opponents. What is happening? Or is he trying to right the ship with Democrats that are seeking to sow dissension and doubt with our troops? Let's go to the phone lines. Michael in Denver. Good morning, Michael. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah, I think it was a disgusting thing that they did. And Jeff, you were 1,000% right, exactly right at what you just said. And Bill, you're just being Bill, okay?
Well, hang on a sec here. Rather than being dismissive, Michael, tell me where I'm wrong. It's easy to dismiss me and just say, just doing this, but that doesn't engage that. But Michael, it doesn't engage.
About this.
Michael, then why'd you call? I mean, why don't you want to engage intellectually? You're just saying Bill's just being Bill.
When I said that
tell me why I'm
about
wrong.
you being you, when I said that about you being you, that's just about everything you say, okay? Not just this.
Where am I wrong on this, Michael?
Well, I think that the Democrats are being Democrats and are just wrong about this again, okay?
Wrong about what?
And
wrong about the video, wrong about the message, wrong about what?
Yes, about what they did. You know.
Now here's Michael. Michael, the thing is, Michael, let me interrupt you just for a second. Michael, we can agree on that. I have been open saying I don't agree with what they did in the video. I think they're wrong, and I think it was stupid. However, I also say that it's not focused on the audience of the military because they already understand that. This was an audience to voters. This was a political message that was crafted specifically to go viral, and because everybody got their panties in a twist over it, it did exactly that. They got exactly what they're looking for. They got everything they were hoping for out of that video. That's my point.
Okay, well, I can't disagree with that. Okay, I get that. It's just a disgusting way they do things. They've done more damage to this country than 1,000 Donald Trumps, starting with Obama and all of them. Yeah, they're, you know, and I'm a Vietnam era veteran, and I could tell you the morale in the military right now. I think it's off the charts. Recruiting's off the charts, and that's the way it is. And Trump reacted to it.
Michael, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much, Michael from Denver. Michael, more importantly, thank you for your service, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's talk Guy Reese, folks. Wife and I went to Guy Reese location in Parker and had an absolutely wonderful, fantastic experience. We sat down with their professional designers. Yes, professional in-home designers. And you don't have to be in the super elite to be able to afford one. They're actually very affordable with Guy Reese, and they help you, which is nice because left to my own devices, I wandered around Home Depot. And I had to go back like 8 times to get stuff anytime I tried to improve our house. So to have a professional designer and my wife to be able to ask 1,000 questions about the types of blinds and the colors that we're going to put up and all that stuff, and them to be able to answer them, because my response, Bill, was just, I don't know. What's a satin sheen? I don't know. You know, like, so we had a great experience. She walked us through everything and helped us find the perfect options to enhance the look and functionality of our home. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Guy Reese has the solutions. Their designers are the experts, and they can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. But here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. So they come out to your home with all the samples. So you can see what they're going to look like, paint colors as well. They'll come to you. They even bring lasers to measure everything. So you can get the same expert advice in your home that we got in ours. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit GuyReese.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Guy Reese, and we'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Man, text messages are hot on this one. I got to find the one. It did a good job. Boy, there's so many coming through. You guys are awesome. But one making the point, here it is, from Bean Checkered.
Yeah, that's a new name this morning. I love that one. Yeah, Bean Checkered. And we had a conversation about that. Yeah.
Bean Checkered. I don't know what that means. But they said, what drives them crazy is the way that the military is now being used as a political prop.
Yeah. I was just reading that as well, right as we're coming back. I was reading that from Bean Checkered as well. And I totally agree. I was just going to text back to him and say, yes, that more and more we're trying to use the military front as a prop. And it's, in my opinion, more egregious than just making sure that every time a politician steps up on stage, they have the mostest number of American flags behind them, or you have to strategically put service members behind you so that in the videos and the pictures, they see that, or all sorts of other performative things. I think that politicians have been doing that for years, but Bean Checkered, I agree with you. This, to me, goes to a different level. I disagree that they are speaking to the military and telling them you have to disobey illegal orders. I think they're putting the military up front and they're talking to voters. And that's where I think the diabolical crapness is in this video.
Let's go to the phone lines. Brian in Arvada. Good morning, Brian. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Yeah, my uncle served in Vietnam, God rest his soul, and my cousin's a Marine. And it just disgusts me. It's disgusting, the behavior of these political figures. And it doesn't do any honor to the people that serve and respect the people that serve and ultimately give a sacrifice. So political hacks like Crow can go out there and spew venom and undermine the commander-in-chief. And it's disgusting. And I agree with Billy. They are not, the message isn't to the troops. The message is to the moderates, because that's who decides elections now, the moderates. The far right, far left, they're always going to be the same. They're never going to change. There's a few in the middle that decide elections, and that's who they're trying to reach. But they lost the messaging on the shutdown completely, and they lost the messaging on, and they're losing the messaging on this. Going after military, I mean, it's just so stupid. And you're right, they're just trying to gaslight everybody. And to cite a polls anymore, like says 60%, I don't care. The poll that mattered to me the most was November 2024, when the majority of the country won every battleground state, elected Donald Trump. That poll stands out resoundingly more than one stupid ABC, CBS poll that is 60% unapproval. Who cares?
I like that,
Lefties
Brian.
only cite polls when it favors them.
I like where you went with that one, and well done. And you and I, we cross swords quite a lot intellectually on the show, and I always appreciate where you're coming from. But yeah, I agree with you that what bothers me at the core of this is it's a dressed up message that gives the appearance of talking to the troops when it's really talking to the voters. And the other thing I think you're 110% right about is this was an attempt to start another narrative after they got housed on that shutdown, that this was intentionally crafted to try and create some other sort of narrative, some other sort of video that would get them into the, we are protecting, we are doing the right thing again. That's why I think this was created that way, especially because of, one, how it was introduced, and the tagline at the end. That, to me, that's not a message that is intended for military troops. That's a marketing message.
Save the ships. Here's a question for both you guys. Here's a question I got for both you guys. This comes from Joan in Lakewood. Crow's gotten a lot of blowback, but I don't think he's going to lose his seat over this, which is a shame. No. He should.
No, he won't. I don't think so. Well, again, I'd have to see who's going to run against him, so we can hold our breath on that one. But right now, given the lay of land,
because the voters, the little socialist voters of Colorado, are going to go so brave, and he's cute.
Yeah, but let's see what happens.
He's single.
Let's see.
Crow's in Dougco, right?
Yeah.
In Arapahoe.
No. Yeah, it's Arapahoe County.
It's Arapahoe mostly.
Yeah, he's Arapahoe County. And so, and what I'm looking at, Brian, is the idea of this is, and I want your opinion on this real quick, is we just changed over the Aurora City Council. They're now going to be more liberal. Let's just, you and I, for discussion, Brian and Jeff, assume that's not going to go well. Let's assume it's going to happen like it did last time many of the liberals got in control of the Aurora City Council. Does that then potentially harm Crow's re-election chances in the Aurora and Arapahoe County proper because of that? Does that create some momentum that maybe more Republicans show up and it's more difficult for him? Your thoughts, Brian?
It's a really good question. I think I traditionally it wouldn't, but Republicans have to get off this apathy trip in Colorado and target elections like Crow, target city council, target places we can make a difference and make an impact. And that would be a perfect place we could. So I'm not convinced we will or Republicans will, but it's time to stand up. And I'm unaffiliated, but I'm a Republican basically because the left has nothing to offer me. They left the middle so long ago that there's nothing to hold on to. And there's not even one issue I can think of I could side with the Democrat right now.
Now you're hearing from Brian from Arvada. He's reminding all Colorado GOP voters, don't give up the ship. I'm sorry, I'm teasing you, Brian. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. I love that theme.
There's not a chance that Jason Crow will lose this seat. He's in the Kyle Clark fanboy stratosphere that progressive women love.
Yeah, the good looks don't hurt. That's tough. Yeah.
Good looks.
Yeah. Well, for politics, yeah, he's good looking for politics.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. Yeah.
Well, the debate will continue. Larry, Marie, stick around. We're going to continue this into the next hour. I think it's terrible what the Democrats are doing. They're sowing dissension and subverting our military. They need to be called out, and Trump was exactly right. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader. We're News Talk 710, KNUS. See you in a sec.